Imagine, demand, and build a world transformed.
Oh my days, what a festival this has been. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed viewers from across the world. This is the Gramm Awards. Yes, TWT's very special, very own award ceremony for our own film school that we ran. At the beginning of TWT 20, we randomly assigned people from around the UK and the world to DIY film crews. Some had never picked up a camera, some had never met in person and still haven't. Some had never heard of TikTok, and yet in just 3 short weeks, each of these crews have made a DIY film for our viewing pleasure. This evening, we will watch the shortlisted films and bestow upon the winner a prestigious Gramm Awards. Now we're going to hear a little bit about the DIY Film School, and we're going to screen 4 of the films that have been chosen. And after that, there's going to be a vote, and we need you guys to be a part of that vote. We're all about democracy, all about member participation. You know what it is. It's TWT 20, baby. And we're going to give a Gramm Award to the best filmmaker. Well, they might not be the best. They might just be your favorite. Anyway, don't forget the closing party also starts in half an hour. Now, if you've been to an in real life TWT closing party, it's mad, my G. So imagine what it's going to be like online. We've got some crazy mad stuff going on. We've got artists, we've got speakers, and we've got, most importantly, you guys to make it special. Anyway, we're going to get on with this show, and I'm just going to do one last announcement before I pass over to my guy Ollie, who's going to talk a little bit more about what the DIY Film School was. And hopefully my tech person is ready in the comments to post the link so you guys can become a supporter of the World Transformed. All of this stuff that we do, from DIY film schools to radical interviews with Ilhan Omar and Diana, but is all funded by you, our supporters. So if you're not a supporter, you need to get up on the game and sign up at theworldtransformed.org/support. And I'm hoping my tech person is going to stick that in the comments now. Anyway, less from me, more from Ollie. He's going to tell you more about the DIY Film School.
Thank you, Dan, light of my life. Thank you for that. So, TWT 20 program is packed full of beautiful content. And I guess some people might have seen DIY Film School embedded amongst that. They clicked attending, thinking they'll be maybe talking about some films, learning a few bits, but they didn't know what they were in for. Mischievously, we sprung a task on them. They had just 3 weeks to make a film about the topic of justice. So this could be about maybe the lack of public space in their areas, maybe about racial injustice, maybe about seeking revenge for the flatmate who drank the last of their oat milk. It was very much in their hands. So their films could be a documentary, an archival film, a narrative-driven film, or even a hard-hitting 10-second film. So we put them into groups of 3. These were their new film crews for the following 3 weeks. As Dan said, they'd never met, and in these COVID days, they were unable to ever meet. These crews spread the breadth of the UK, and even further. We had participants in the States, in Slovakia, in France, and somehow they had to come together and make a DIY film. So, in class, led by Fran, our trainer, we watched some films, spoke about what made a good film. We learned how to storyboard. We covered basics in editing and shooting. But really, these films were made off the back of these crews' hard graft and the collaborative strength of these new socialist film crews we've created. So I'll pass back over to Dan to run us through these films.
I just quite like having me and Ollie on the same screen together. It feels like something that should have happened a long time ago, and it's finally happened. Oh my gosh, the dynamic duo, bro. Thanks for that. Anyway, listen, I love this socialist film cruise. Do you know what I mean? Some of you might know I'm into my films. I'm not going to plug my YouTube channel called Chatterbox, but I love films, so I'm so excited to get into watching these. That wasn't a plug, by the way. And the first one is Max, Paul, and Peter, and their one is titled The West Kentish Town Estate. If my tech person's ready, get this on screen, baby.
The UK's council housing crisis is ever worsening, and this is a story that could be told through the cramped, run-down conditions people have to live in, the millions of council homes which have been sold off, or the terrible Grenfell Tower fire. We're going to tell the story of Camden's West Kentish town estate. In 1964, Labour politician Harold Wilson became Prime Minister, and in his first term 1.3 million new homes were built, with council housing rising to 50% of the total. One of the council estates built in that first year under Wilson was Camden's West Kentish town estate with 316 homes. But 56 years later, the flats are in a poor state of repair, even as a nearby building built with the same materials looks to be in good condition. Sharaf lives in one of the council homes and has hopes this might change.
Yeah, it's quite nice area, but they got a plan to demolish all the estates, especially West Kentish town.
Yeah.
And
how do you feel about it?
To be honest, I feel good.
Okay.
I'm not that rich enough to go buy another property. And
Camden Council wants to demolish and rebuild the whole estate, a move supported by a large majority of residents. But the plan to rebuild may already be doomed to fail. As the economy plummets, a study commissioned by Shelter says over 300,000 planned homes could be stalled over the next 5 years. The West Kentish Town estate may well be one of them. But some believe that refurbishment, not rebuilding, is what is needed. Although 93% of residents agreed to rebuild the flats, they had no alternative to vote for.
There was no other option. They were told on the ballot paper, this is what was on the ballot paper, vote yes, and if you don't, there is nothing. We will do nothing to this estate.
But although residents are desperate for some improvement, rebuilding the whole estate worries those who enjoy its open spaces and beautiful hero trees. And this is far from the only climate concern. The collapse of our environment has caused an unprecedented heatwave in the UK and record-breaking wildfires on the west coast in the US. Rebuilding is environmentally costly, leaving some residents fighting for a greener option. Refurbish to bring desperately needed improvements without the high environmental costs. It would take 30 to 40 years for newly planted trees to provide the same environmental benefit. It's not just the environment people are worried about. Architects for social housing emphatically endorse refurbishment because it costs less and doesn't displace residents.
ASH's response to this is simple. Do not demolish structurally sound dwellings, but refurbish them. Demolition does not make financial sense for public bodies interested in housing rather than property prices.
Residents themselves have come up with suggestions for improvements, including better security and more storage space. But without the council exploring refurbishment or a clear idea of where funding would come from, the future of the estate is up in the air. Repairing and refurbishment is sorely needed for residents who need and deserve a better quality of life. But whether this can happen is a political choice. Locals will have to push back against the dominant dogma of austerity. There's a long road ahead for those who dare to dream of better, but with bold activism, this future may be ours.
Wow, that was a deep film, you know, and this is the beauty of, you know, basically grassroots people making their own films and telling their own stories. We get to hear about things that normally in our own bubbles we wouldn't hear of. Now, I'm really excited for you guys to see the next one as well. It's from Alex and James, and it's called The Clock's Ticking. So tech person, the clock's ticking. Get that video on.
I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
It doesn't matter. We're the ones going to be impacted.
There you go. That's an exciting video. If you want to rewatch this, I'm sure we're going to make it available and you can rewatch it here on the stream afterwards. It will be available. The next one, I was very excited. This is by Sonia with a Y. Don't get it wrong. And it is The Pursuit of Justice.
I think that it means many different things, and that will also be different to different people.
Justice is being heard, acknowledged, and compensated for experiences of inequality.
Justice is equality, fairness, and the right to be heard.
Justice is reparation. Justice is healing.
Justice means equity, fair institutions, and individual accountability.
Accountability of perpetrators, reconciliation between communities, and it also means a form of truth-telling.
Equality between everyone, regardless of their religion, gender, affiliations, ideologies.
Justice is rights in action for everyone, everyone.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight?
Food banks.
Deprivation.
Not having access to certain resources that make life livable.
We were poor because I was hungry a lot. I had to have cardboard in my shoes when there was a hole.
I've got to make the decision to either eat or not. If I'm lucky, I'll have a shift a week. That's £78. Take out travel and food, it don't work. How can I live off that?
But it doesn't seem to matter how hard I try. I never really feel like I'm getting anywhere.
As a parent, I'm a mum, I've got a child. For me, not to be able to feed my child the basic needs, it's devastating, absolutely devastating. So I think they're all worst case scenarios. If you can't afford to feed your family, then that's devastating.
I know that economically it doesn't have to be this way, and I feel very much that there's much more as a society that we could be doing to change things.
Our words can change the whole world because we are all together, united. And if we want to achieve our goal, then let us empower ourselves with the weapon of knowledge. And let us shield ourselves with unity and togetherness. Dear brothers and sisters, we must not forget that millions of people are suffering from poverty, injustice, and ignorance. This is the compassion that I have learned from Muhammad, the Prophet of Mercy, and Jesus Christ and Lord Buddha. This is the legacy of change that I have inherited from Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. This is the philosophy of non-violence that I have learned from Gandhiji, Bacha Khan, and Mother Teresa. And this is the forgiveness that I have learned.
You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe.
That was some powerful stuff. I have to say, though, I love that placards. Roses are red, violets are blue. Can't we smash the patriarchy with you? I know it didn't say it like that, but that's how I remembered it in my head. Come on, that was nice. Sonia, well done. The next one, number 4 on the list is, now I wasn't sure on the pronunciation of this, so I'm going to do it both ways. Planet Crimes or Plan T Crimes. Hit it, tech people. Oh, it's Giorgio, Maddie, and Georgina, by the way.
Brazil's indigenous populations united to fight President Jair Bolsonaro.
Year saw record melting of the huge sheet of ice that covers Greenland, according to a major new study. More than 500 billion tons of ice was lost.
Conditions they've ever seen, firefighters are losing homes and lives across the West at historic rates.
And rainforest is on fire again. Whole mountains, hills and valleys engulfed in smoke.
We're looking not to replace one justice system with another, but to begin questioning and dialoguing around justice, using as a basis what we already have.
So for me, true justice is achieved through healing. These climate crooks are damaged people. They are blinded by status, addicted to money. They are suffering inside, and they make other life suffer as a result. I suggest they give up all of their belongings, redistribute their wealth, and spend the rest of their lives in plant medicine centres, taking compulsory ayahuasca every month and living on a diet of fruit, vegetables, and leaves. This may sound funny coming from a leaf, but me and my comrades are always happy to sacrifice ourselves to help heal and guide damaged humans.
Although it would be great in the short term for someone like Bolsonaro or fossil fuel advocates to face public shaming, humiliation or prison, all those tactics aren't proved to work in the long term for either the victims of the crime or perpetrators. If we're considering the effects of ecocide, maybe the best way to achieve justice is through living the experience of those most affected by the crimes. I would ask for restorative justice and have the criminals live with the Amazonian tribes who are seeing their land and villages pillaged and burned, and whose very existence is being destroyed. I'd make them work with climate scientists and ecologists who are observing the effects climate change is having on the plant life, animals, and the global geography. I'd require them to experience living in poverty and spend a mandatory study amount of time observing statistics on world hunger, wealth inequality, and climate change. I'd like to see all their funds distributed across the mostly third world countries that are going to be most affected by climate change. Most of all, I'd ask the Amazonian tribes and climate scientists what they think. How would we reverse the damage created in the most effective way?
I'm gonna do another little shout out for the creators of that film, just because I missed it on the end there. I was so excited. Georgina, Giorgio, and Maddie, absolutely fantastic films from everyone there. I'm just gonna run through all the names for you because it is the time to vote. I'll explain the voting process in just a moment. But first of all, we have the West Kentish Town Estate by Max, Paul, and Peter. and that was talking about an estate. Well, it pretty much says it in the title. And then there was The Clock's Ticking, a beautiful piece of art that makes you think and very quickly catches your attention. Then The Pursuit of Justice, which gives a wide range, beautiful views on the term or the word justice and its meaning. And then finally, I'm gonna call it Plenty Crimes, because I just like that, a way of calling it, from Georgina, Giorgio, and Maddie, which I think was brilliant. Had a little bit of distribution of wealth. You know, there's those environmental criminals out there. You guys, you know, you all done a great job, and it was fantastic. Now, I'm just going to let you guys know that the process that we're using to vote in this, so that you can vote for your favorite out of the films, is Menti. And all you've got to do is go to www.menti.com. That's MENTI.com, as you'll see on the screen below my chin. And using the code, when you go on there, it asks you for a code. You need to enter 5005799, and then you will be able to vote for your favorite. Now, while you guys go away and vote, make sure you keep this window open in the background, because the main teacher, the scholar of film, the TWT in-house Final Cut magician, is about to talk you through a couple of bits. So, Fran, holla at your people, man. Where you at?
On stage. Oh, I'm on stage.
Come on, Fran.
Thanks for that, Dan. Lovely. I've never been introduced in such a way. Yeah, we ran the course over the 2 sessions, and I think a couple people in the course had used editing software and stuff before, and most people were teaching themselves from YouTube, learning how to use phones to film stuff. And so I was impressed people came, and then I was even more impressed with the amount of engagement we got. And I'm really impressed with all the films that people have submitted. I'm over the moon. And yeah, I was going to say a few things about each film, but Dan pretty much nailed it on the head, I think. Like, I thought it's so great to see on the West Kentish Town estate that people actually went out and filmed the council estate near them and the redevelopment that's happening there. And it's great to see a bit of light shed on a specific story that might as well go unnoticed. And I thought it was quite emotive as well. I was really impressed with the footage captured, because one participant went around with their phone and shot all of that, and it's really well stitched together. So 10 points. And then the 10-second film, like Dan said, it just catches your eye and you're thinking, what the hell was that? And really drawn in, and then just bombarded at the end with one simple point, which I really liked, and we were talking about in the film group. And the Pursuit of Justice as well. There's so much content there, and it must have done so much work going through archives and footage on YouTube and different platforms to find all of that stuff. And I know how hard that is, and it takes time. So it's great that you've went to all that effort, and I thought it was really strong and powerful. And it got me with an emotive response, which I guess is the aim. So that's also really amazing. And then the Planet Crimes is what I'm going to call it. But I love the mouths on the trees. I couldn't have come up with something with a better idea myself. I thought it was a really unique way of trying to demonstrate a point that that plants might feel too, or like a point about the crimes against nature. And I thought that was really clever. And I love the use of jungle music running through there as a political weapon, which I've also noticed the World Transformed is doing everywhere, which I think is quite cool. I don't know if I just picked that up, but I was thinking about it today. I was like, there's jungle music attached to all these videos, which I love, and I think is like the basis of personal identity politics. So I love that. Yeah. What do you reckon, Dan?
Do you know what? I agree with everything you said there, especially I enjoyed each film had its own individual features that really helped it stand out. So I think you pointed out most of the things, and I love the rawness of these films. As I mentioned earlier on, that when you have people like grassroots people making their own films, telling their own stories, you hear things in a way that the BBC or Sky or whoever else it may be will not tell you. It's not the best camera in the world, the best microphone in the world, but I tell you what, it's some of the best stories in the world. Ollie, my main man, Fran, you know, you guys, I believe you got the results.
Oh, cool.
Is this right?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
I think your screen is about to come on. Boom. Oh, can we get a drum roll in the audience? Raise the lights. Get the musicians going. Come on. Okay, I am so excited. Whoa.
Oh, amazing. That's clever.
That's amazing. So the winners, was it multiple people? Yeah. Max, Paul, and Peter, the West Kentish Town Estates. Well done. Do we have those guys on the line? Are they able to feed into the Gramskis tonight? Unfortunately not. So Fran and Ollie, I'm sure, will be taking the award, socially distanced, handing it over to them and making sure that they receive. What is the award, by the way?
The award is something very beautiful that a lot of people can't see, but true socialists can.
Well, I'm gonna throw in a a Jeremy Corbyn manifesto. I think it's a 2019 one I got sitting there. It's not signed. Don't get twisted, but I've got a 2019 manifesto there, and it is in crisp condition. And we'll send that to the winners. If I can get it signed for them, I will. I'll try and do that for them as a special gift.
That's
you
almost as good as my prize.
All of us. And I think all the entries are amazing. And well done, everyone, for actually getting out there and doing it. And I hope that people use their skills moving forwards to make more content.
Fantastic.
Online.
Ollie, Fran, thank you so much for putting on the DIY Film School. It's another thing that TWT, we didn't think we could put on this festival this year. We wasn't sure what was going to happen. We knew we were going to do something, but we've managed to do over 100 sessions in a month online while COVID cases are going up and down. Boris is U-turning all over the gaff. The world is upside down, inside out. I don't even know what, like, you know, my high street looks like anymore. It's that mad out here. But I have had the best time watching these films. I've had the best time watching all of the content and get involved in all of the content at this festival this year. So please, if you guys out there have enjoyed the festival, even if it's one session or you've managed to get to every 100 sessions, please think about donating or joining our supporters network. It's theworldstransformed.org/support. I believe the link should be in the chat right now. If not, someone's going to bang it in there. And also there should be a link for our closing party, which is starting in 1 minute's time. 1 minute's time, our closing party is starting. It's going to be mad. We got Blue Boy, we got Owen Jones, we got Carrot, we got madness. It's going to be a mad thing. Ollie, Fran, thank you so much for the film festival. I'm going to bounce now. We're going to love you. We're going to leave you, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace, love, solidarity, and keep transforming the world, my people.
Yeah.
View the full TWT 20 program and become a supporter today to help us deliver political education all year round at theworldtransformed.org.